Assalamu alaikum Al Talib. This is Haidar Anwar with Sister Maria Bunji. Sister Maria Bunji is the project director of the Mentors for Academic and Peer Support here at UCLA. So, Sister Maria, I just had a few questions for you about the crisis going on in Syria. The first question is, as a Muslim youth living in the United States, how do you feel about the crisis going on in Syria?
So, as somebody living in the United States that is Muslim and shares the same faith as many of the Syrian people, I personally feel like what we've been seeing in the Middle East in the past year has been incredibly inspirational. People are actually laying down their lives for justice and for what they believe in, and a lot of the video and photos that are coming out of that region are completely inspiring. And I really truly believe that these people are fighting for something greater than themselves, and I think inshallah Allah will bless them with success. In the process, obviously it's been incredibly difficult to get rid of the different tyrants that are in power. You saw that first with Tunisia, and then Libya, and then going on into Egypt, Egypt and then going on into Libya. And I think with Syria, it's been a bloodbath, which is really interesting to me because the other tyrants, if you look at people like Gaddafi, they were very clear tyrants. Many people thought he was mentally unstable. Assad, his regime was seen as being more palatable, more acceptable by the West, and regardless of the spin and the PR campaign that they've been promoting, right? It's very clear through their actions to see that they're no different, and if anything, I would say they're even worse with what they're doing to their people. And I can't commend the people enough for their courage and for their dignity and for their conviction in standing up for what they believe in and standing up for equal rights for everyone. And I hope inshallah Allah will grant us success soon.
Inshallah. Okay, and our second question is, what's your opinion on the resolution made by the United Nations, specifically about China and Russia not supporting it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of governments have ulterior motives when it comes to international politics. It's very disappointing that Russia and China vetoed that resolution. And I think, but again, Russia and China are not known for their stellar reputation when it comes to human rights either. So it's not incredibly surprising. I know that it's probably a little bit disheartening for supporters of Syria to see this type of quibbling between different governments. But at the end of the day, for me personally, I believe that this is a revolution that has to be spurred on by those that are on the ground, and it has to come from them. And they're, inshallah, when Assad is removed from power, that the new government has to come from them as well. And so if there isn't international meddling, I actually think that that's a positive thing, even though it might be more difficult for the Syrians in the short term. Because, long term, they don't want to replace their government with something very similar to what they had. And that's something that you see people struggling with in Egypt and in Libya is third parties coming in and trying to mess with the political structure and, kind of ensure that their influences are being represented. And so it's very important to make sure that this is a revolution by the people, for the people, that's a representative of their interests. And so in that sense, I think that it's important for the Syrian people to have hope and to continue doing what they're doing, which is so beyond anything that I have ever done in my life, and I stand in awe of what they're doing.
Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is Haidar Ali Anwar with Al Talib. Here we have brother Abdullah Debusi. He's a third-year transfer student majoring in political science. So Abdullah, as you know, this week's interview topic is about Syria, and I just have a couple of questions for you. The first question is, as a Muslim youth living in the United States, how do you feel about the crisis going on in Syria?
Okay, well, first of all, assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you Haidar and Al Talib for having me on this interview. Regarding this situation, I'm pretty astonished at how brutal and violent the Syrian regime and Bashar al-Assad have proven themselves to be. I wouldn't say I'm surprised though, because they've always been a bad regime, and if anyone actually took the time to research and look into what they've actually been about and their beliefs and their history, they should come to no surprise how brutal they've been. But I would say that I'm very disturbed at how ruthless and bloodthirsty Bashar al-Assad and his family and the Syrian government have been and how they're senselessly massacring their people on literally an hourly basis.
What's your opinion on the resolution made by the United Nations, specifically about China and Russia not supporting it?
Well, I'm pretty surprised at how numb Beijing and Moscow have been during this whole conflict. I mean, I understand nations have their own interests and they want to look after their own, strategies. But in this case, I mean, that's politics. But I mean, in this case, the situation has reached like a point where it's not even about politics anymore. It's about innocent women, children, men, dying on a daily basis, being slaughtered by their regime. So I think that Russia and China should quit playing these annoying games and start pressuring Bashar al-Assad to end this